All right, guys. Well, emergency podcast number 2 of the month. And this one's terrible. So we're just going to get right into the music and then start the show.
Sad music.
All right. Well, before we get into this, I just want to tell you we recorded an entire podcast last night.
Welcome back.
An hour worth of content, all to be thrown out the window.
Delete button this morning.
Trevor, thanks for the finger, but not necessary because I haven't brought up the news yet.
I was just preparing the video listener.
Oh, okay, just preparing the listeners for what's to come.
What they already know.
Yeah, the breaking news of today. Today's Friday. We're recording an emergency podcast 11 o'clock at night, but
Friday, August 12th.
San Diego Padres star Fernando Tatis is suspended 80 games for testing positive for an illegal substance, performing an enhancing substance, PED. And it's kind of shocking. I had to wait. We waited a couple hours to do this podcast for me to try to come up with what I have to say, but I'm really still lost for words. You know, we were expecting him to come back in a week, less than a week at this point, and an entire podcast worth of content about Fernando coming back and the lineup and
how dangerous this team's gonna be,
how dangerous that team would have been with Tatis. And so gears shifted. Fernando Tatis suspended 80 games, and so yeah, there's not 80 games left in this season, so it's going to carry on to next. So none of this is good. Like, this is the shittiest part of the year for you to pop positive. I know even if you do pop positive, you miss playoffs no matter what. But this is like the worst time because it carries on to next year. Like, there's 50 games left. I heard he would miss the first 32 games of next season, so a little over a month of ball. Doesn't get to play in the World Baseball Classic. Doesn't get to play for Team Dominican with Manny and probably Juan Soto. Deservingly so. I don't think you should be able to play in a game like that where it's fun and get to play against other countries and support your own country. And I hope that helps him learn a little bit, you know, because life is all about learning lessons and what is true, like, fuck ups and like actual mistakes, and that's when you have to learn a lesson. And if he actually eventually learns a lesson from all of this, then maybe one day we'll see a better man in Fernando Tatis Jr. But right now we're seeing the worst. Obviously this has been the worst year of the poor man's career, but you know, I'm not going to take anything away from him. He's a 23-year-old kid. He had a bike accident to begin the season, coming back from wrist surgery, broken wrist, and ends up getting caught taking steroids. There's a lot of rumors, like he came out and said in his statement that he was taking a cream for ringworm. Weird.
Cap. Factor cap.
Don't know at this point.
Don't care.
He was at first going to basically challenge the suspension. He was going to appeal it, but then quickly withdrew his appeal, said that in his statement. And, you know, as soon as we got closer and closer to the game and we heard AJ's comments, did you guys hear AJ's comments? Well, wasn't too happy. Seemed truly upset. You know, Tatis hasn't been there the entire year. We're missing an entire year of this kid's fucking legacy that he was going to build. Last year, he missed 32 games, still had 42 bombs. Like, if we sit down and break down, because I want to get your guys' comments here because I've been talking the entire show. But I'm truly upset. You know, this team was going to be a juggernaut when Tatis comes back. Now it's going to be a fight. We are still a lot of games back. The Padres won today. Brewers lost, so they're 2 up in that last wild card spot. So anything's possible. Still a very good fucking team. You still have Juan Soto, Manny Machado, Josh Bell, You have Joe Musgrove. Like all these guys are there. Josh Hader. Like all of these guys are there.
Yeah. And
So
that's exactly what I like to see. They got this news 30 minutes before. So I'm glad they played on the news and showed us that, hey, we don't need him. We might want him and he'd be very good for the team, but we don't need him. We got enough guys. AJ Preller did what he had to do this trade deadline, and this team is looking good. Tatis, he just wants to win. You know, a lot of people are mad at him right now, but he could have been saying that he really wanted to come back and he was feeling good about coming back. So why don't we just boost it up a little bit more with a little needle in my arm? But hey, you know, he's young. People make mistakes all the time. 2 in a row is not very good looking, but if they were spread apart, we wouldn't even be talking about it. But I'm excited for this team. Both Juan Soto, Josh Bell, Drury hit another bomb tonight. Looked very good. Welcome till next year.
No, I mean, it really doesn't like. I'm trying to be as optimistic as possible. We haven't seen this guy play an inning all year. We are still in playoff contention, and being a true Padre fan like I am, this is the funnest time we've had in 20 years of like watching the Padres. And maybe I don't remember the first like couple, but
2020 was
still,
pretty fun.
2020 was fun, even though it didn't count. This year is even more fun because of the Juan Soto buzz. This team is actually, they scored 10 or more runs in 2 games back to back. So, I mean, that's always fun. Tatis hasn't played any. It's a stupid mistake. It's a dumb mistake. Like you just got to be smarter, you know. Mike Trout, I'm sure, has had wrist injuries, has had multiple injuries. You don't see guys like him making that mistake of, oh, I'm taking a performance enhancing drug in the medicine I'm taking, you know?
Well, now let me bring you this point. So Fernando Tatis' young career broke in the league at 20 years old in 2019. Since then, Fernando has April 2019 had a left hamstring strain, missed 34 games. August 2019, lower back stress reaction, missed 43 games. April 2021, left shoulder abduction, 9 games. May 2021, COVID, 8 games. July 21, left shoulder inflammation, 13 games. We'll say March, first week of March 2022, left wrist fracture surgery. And now August 12th, 80 game suspension, PEDs. The Padres not too long ago signed Fernando Tatis Jr. to a 14-year, $340 million contract. They're just in the beginning of it. We're not even halfway.
Yep. And honestly, the worst part about all that is all those injuries, let's just say they all occurred while he was playing, you know, which you can understand a guy gets hurt while he's like doing something too hard, you know, maybe he's fragile. I don't know. But all those injuries occurred during games. These last 2, which cost him 162 plus games, occurred off the field. There's literally, it's uncontrollable, and those are the worst type of like
Injuries.
mistakes. Yeah, injuries. He could have easily not been on the motorcycle. Let's just say he was on. There's a lot of different off-road vehicles that you're way more secure in. So, in a motorcycle, you get whatever happened. You get a road rash. You're trying to cover that shit up because you fucked up once again.
Just got to make better decisions. I mean,
And I understand
I hate
he's
the
young.
comments that are saying that he doesn't want it, that he's just fucking off. Like, no, he obviously wants it very badly. He's taking performing enhancing drugs because he wants to do that good. Like, I hate how people say he doesn't want to play or he doesn't have heart. Like,
But at the same time, like I
trying.
saw a tweet, and Fernando Tatis Sr. was on, or his best year was with Mark McGwire in 1999 in St. Louis. the middle of the
Middle
steroid era.
of steroid era.
Middle of it.
The other thing, Robinson Cano comes to the Padres for whatever 2 weeks, kind of in the mist. Oh, I'm with Fernando Tatis. He's rehabbing here. Robinson Cano has been caught twice now using PEDs, and they happen to be from the same exact fucking town. So I saw a tweet.
Life.
Yeah, I saw a tweet that said it was written on the walls. Maybe it was, and we didn't expect like such a superstar player to be using steroids, whatever. But I mean, at this point, it really doesn't matter that he's gone. We haven't seen him at all this year, and we are still a wild card team. I was telling Bob earlier, I was like, imagine he comes back for 2-3 games, and all of a sudden this pops, and he's gone. Like that would have been so much more worse than seeing him not play at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think 2 games in a lineup where we scored like 20 runs and then all of a sudden popped, like that's where this news is like 25 times worse. Like, yeah, we did get some fucked up news today, but if he was on the team for 2 days, it would be way worse. And I mean, maybe if it was the other way around, I'd wish he didn't play any games. But you know, it's just kind of shitty. This type of thing doesn't really happen. This is the 3rd player since 1961 to be a top 3 MVP to miss the following season, and 1 guy retired.
Yeah, I heard that stat.
Fucking cheater.
You know, so it's something that's unreal. It's unreal to think about because Tatis is now, it's affecting his career, the longevity, Hall of Fame status. You know, this kid had such a high peak in the very early of his career, got the money, like it's a lot of fame to your head.
He had a couple more years to become a solidified Hall of Famer.
Luckily,
but now he'll never be.
Luckily, this kid is still 23 and prospects are still much older. We still have 3 postseasons with Juan Soto, including this one. 2 of them will be with Tatis. This news is terrible, but it's better than another injury. It's better than him rehab and the wrist was broken and he has to get surgery again and miss more time. It is fucking terrible that I'm having to say that about taking steroids because I've been so against like cheating and all of that. But it does open a conversation. A lot of people are talking about steroid era and all that stuff, and how many players probably do still take it, don't get caught. How long has Fernando been taking this? Was it just for the wrist injury? Like you said, road rash. Was he covering the rash? Ringworm? Was it ringworm? There's a lot of question marks.
But I also, no cap, I saw, and I don't like, I see things on Twitter, but I take them with like a grain of salt. This thing really, like, I was like, how is something like this made up? You know? So this is what the tweet said. Tatis punched an Uber driver in the off season, and that's what covered it up that he broke his wrist instead of like they used him, fell on a motorcycle because he'd done that multiple times apparently. And this tweet is all like, he punched an Uber driver, broke his wrist in that punch, and they covered it up with that. But I don't know. It's always terrible to hear all these weird rumors about this superstar. I understand he's 23 and he's going to make mistakes. What's going to be the best part is he will finally grow out of this. And when he comes back, I really don't think like he'll have any off the field issues. He's not going to have any on the field issues.
The one thing that
he's going to grow from this a lot.
Hopefully,
the one thing that scares me most is that, you know, his attachment with the DR, and I know he loves where he's from. I love where I'm from, as should almost everybody. I know there's some obstacles and situations, but a lot of people absolutely adore and have an attachment where they're from. The Dominican Republic is not a safe place. Like, I don't want to sound racist, rude, but it is not. Like, David Ortiz was shot there and they covered the story up saying, oh, the shooter was shooting somewhere else. No, that guy actually was aiming to kill David Ortiz and almost did. Like, Jordan Ventura, is that his name? Eric Hosmer's former teammate, Kansas City Royal,
Yeah, you said it
died
right.
in a car accident in the DR. Like it's not the safest place, and you hear stories like that, Trevor. Like maybe they're covering up the motorcycle accident. They're covering up the Uber driver broken wrist, whatever. Like even if it is riding motorcycles, he's not wearing a helmet. He's not wearing nothing. Like get him out. Get him to San Diego, to Florida to train with Tatis. Like get him to Arizona, spend an off season. I mean, obviously he was pushed through the minor leagues very quickly at 20 years old. You're in the bright light. San Diego's beautiful downtown. There's a lot of partying, a lot of money, a lot of drugs. Shit gets crazy at this age. And we're not in like the bright lights of LA or New York. Like a lot of if you watch the Derek Jeter documentary, they talk about like the bright lights in the city and how all of that affects you. Like we don't get down to the nitty gritty and how the DR affects you and life is like out there, because not everyone's make it through $30 million a year has 340 in the bank. 99% of the people out there are reckless, having fun, don't care, don't abide by any law. Like
No, and
from what I've done research on is just like it's a crazy country.
yeah, and it could be who his like circle is, He goes to
you are
DR,
who
he
you
gets
hang out with.
he gets
It's a saying
comfortable.
that parents have said forever. You are who you hang out with. If you hang out with stoners, if you hang out with drinkers, drug addicts, like goth people, you are who you hang out with.
And I think it's the smartest thing he could do this offseason is stay in the States, train with a
And
teammate.
work.
Specifically Manny Machado. I think they need to get bonded again, and he can learn from what Manny did, because Manny was in the same situation he was,
I don't think any of this team wants to see him till the offseason.
They
I think
won't.
they're
He's
all
not
pretty
allowed.
pissed at him.
He's not
I
allowed
know.
on in team like any events, nothing like that. He's gonna be isolated. I hope he doesn't go to the DR. I hope his family comes to him here, because I'm sure he's leaning on them heavily in this moment. Especially his dad being a former like MLB player. But I mean,
Oh.
it just sucks. It's dumb. It's uncontrollable, and those are like I was saying, those are the worst types of like injuries, suspensions, whatever. So annoying. It could have been avoided.
This is definitely one of the categories that could have been avoided. Like this last entire year.
The entire year, he could have been playing all this time, and like you see these comments by Mike Clevenger and Joe Musgrove, like Mike Clevenger said, we've been disappointed twice this year, and like Tatis needs to realize that people's families are on the line. It's like it's not about him, like these guys are saying, and he'll understand that as he gets older.
Teammates also like you're saying, he'll understand that maybe in the future, hopefully as he grows as a player and as a teammate. But a lot of contracts have contract stipulations where you make playoffs, it's another 100,000. You get playoff bonuses if your team makes the playoff, if you win in the playoffs. Some people do not make 30 million a year. Some people make 750,000.
They're depending on the
2
incentives.
million. What'd you say yesterday's podcast? Brandon Drury makes $760,000. $760,000.
700,000.
Yeah, like literally doesn't make. And if he makes the playoffs and gets a couple wins, we push him over $1 million on the year. Maybe he has a stipulation where if he wins a World Series, he gets $1 million bonus, and now he doubles his pay or something. Like he's not thinking about anybody but himself right now, and so he has to grow up. But my question is to you, Padre fans, both of you, as am I. Next year, are we going to see Tatis on the cover of everything? Tatis here, Tatis there.
Hell no. It's going to be Juan Soto and Manny Machado.
Joe Musgrove.
Even Java Cup Joe also.
That's what people like.
They'll throw Tim Hill on the cover before.
Yesterday we were saying it. Like Tatis and Soto on the same team is absolutely insane. It's a shame that we don't get to see that this year.
Yep.
You know, we had to wait a whole nother year, and we've been waiting since fucking March to see this man play. Like, he is a special talent, and this is obviously devastating, but next year, because that seems to be our fucking theme is next year. When they get
Why
back,
is
like
it always fucking next
Year,
dog?
dude. Pissed. I want to
always,
keep
bro.
focusing on this year and say, hey, Ha-Sung Kim,
But that's how the
strap
team.
the fuck in, buddy.
Yeah,
No,
that's how
us
the
fans,
team
we have to
needs.
be like that too. We have
That's
to
how the
say,
team needs to think.
hey, strap in, you motherfuckers.
Strap in.
Because
Your
this is a
playing time
playoff team.
has just got extended.
We don't
You're
get
not
like
playing hot right now. I need you to get some confidence,
are
swing the
playing
bat,
hot.
and fucking field the ball. Quit with the
Oh,
air.
Hassan Kim is playing really well right now.
Yeah. But
His last like 33 games.
Oh, and I went on a deep dive
Unreal.
of all the fielder stats errors wise, like how good are they fielding. Surprisingly, Jake Cronenworth has the best fielding percentage on the Padres.
how is that surprising? He's literally the Crone Zone.
Yeah,
I'm
don't
just
hit
saying-
it. Don't hit it in the Chrome Zone.
Don't hit it to the Crone Zone.
Next
Jake
year changes a lot
Cronenworth-
too. There's a lot of rule changes in the books going on next year. There's no shifts. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, but still at the same time, the team I think has already done that because they haven't seen Tatis all year. Yeah, it was going to be a great boost getting him back probably this fucking week. So, we will find out how this team reacts. Obviously, today they heard the news 30 minutes before the game and they put up 10 runs, which
I think it hyped them up. I think that was the spark that they needed. The Tatis was either going to bring the spark no matter what. If he doesn't play or doesn't play.
and I'm honestly like I feel bad for fucking Don and Mud because they're gonna have to talk about it because tonight's game was on the bullshit Apple TV, whatever.
So boring, dude.
It,
So boring.
it really sucks because I mean, everyone has ties and everyone has jobs, but they still have like favorite players and like they still have to go out and talk about it. And obviously, we talked to Mud. He's a homer. He absolutely loves the Padres. They're his favorite team. And now he has to come in and kind of talk down on a player that he's very fond of. So
Yeah, and at the same time, I was honestly trying to think earlier. When was the last time like a Padres player got suspended like for PDs? Was it Matt Kemp, Carlos Quentin? I remember those two names, but I don't know if it was
Everett
ever true.
Cabrera, part of the A-Rod scandal.
Everett Cabrera, and
stop.
that was probably 10 years ago.
10 years ago, probably.
And I am so glad we are out of that
Wow.
era that now we can say we have Juan Soto on the Padres, Manny Machado, all these names that we have. This team is still good, and I honestly think they will contend far in October,
And I
even
hope
without
everybody
Tatis.
grasp Mike Clevenger's mindset of
Yes.
we got everybody in this locker room we need. As good as Tatis is, I mean, we got him. We got the players. We have what it takes. We just need to turn it on when it needs to be turned on.
As much as all this sucks, the best part is that playoff games count for Tatis's suspension.
So let's make a run.
And
Make a run, go get those 16 games, win the World Series, and fucking next year he misses less time than that.
but last year's team who won the World Series, the Atlanta Braves, their superstar tore his ACL in an on the field injury. They still won the World
pulled
Series.
through. Yep.
They
yep, yep, yep.
still beat these teams that need to be beat in order to win that World Series. So I hope that this whole situation makes this team closer and better.
Yep.
Because like as much as I hate to say like wow, Tatis really used steroids, like we have such a great team, which is unreal. And like we haven't necessarily seen the full potential out of these guys because Josh Hader struggled against the Giants. You know, Juan Soto has 1 home run so far, but Juan Soto has been a beast. Yes, he has. Josh Bell hasn't homered yet. I'm expecting it this weekend in Washington, if I'm going to be honest.
But Drury, hey, killing him.
Yeah, I'm a big Drury guy.
Killing him. I'm big Drury guy right now.
Huge Drury guy. The guy can play anywhere. And
I talked about it before.
which last night when I was looking at stats, he's only made an error at third base. So I think we just keep him away from third base. First base,
Yeah,
he's
but
fine. Second base, he's fine.
then again, how many errors? Only one at third
He has
base?
5 errors. No, he has 5.
Oh,
And he had
5.
2 in that one game. So
Yeah.
like that was almost 50% of his errors in the whole year in that one game.
I'll take it for a many off day every now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
they're DH most of the time.
I am glad Preller made moves to put us in this situation because we still feel fine losing a superstar such as Tatis.
I feel like there's some suspicious stuff going on there, though, because if he tested back in March positive, AJ Preller made this many moves. Tatis was on.
But
Tatis was on.
If he would have made a move for a shortstop, I would have been a little sus at. I would have been a little sus if he made a move for a shortstop, but he didn't. So that's why I think they really had no idea.
Yeah, because Ha-Seong Kim is playing good, so he didn't need to.
Yeah, and that has been.
They were thinking about it early before the deadline. I heard Xander Bogaerts rumors, and so if he really wanted to, he'd cut off.
But it's just like at the same time, if this test came back positive, that was in March. Why did it take 3-4 months to enact, like come down, crack down? Like it's literally terrible timing. This guy was playing in AAA, AA, whatever, 2 days ago, and now he's suspended the rest of the year. So like that part's fucked up. Why don't we test all the other fucking studs who are hitting 50 home runs in August and are in a big media market and maybe have 100 RBIs this season?
Was it a random or was it like you're coming back, we need to test you?
It's just random. I don't know when.
It's always random, supposedly.
It's like that was the first drug test of the year, I think, that he failed. And don't forget, riddle me this, Batman. They did announce last year that they were not testing during the whole contract negotiation between MLBPA and MLB. Do you not remember this offseason?
I do remember that because I said
players were gonna come out and be positive because this shit.
I literally specifically remember like either sending a text, but I was like, because they made a big deal about they're not testing for steroids. Steroids won't be considered, blah blah blah. And I was like, oh no shit, because there's no fucking agreement. Duh. And then all of a sudden I was like, hey, these guys are gonna be juicing up this offseason. What does it matter? And
it just happened to be the first test of the year. What they said March 29th. That was the day before, or isn't April 1st like opening week usually? It was pushed back. Year. It was pushed back a little bit, but that would have been spring training. So,
but it was after he had gotten, which I think is sus as well, after he had gotten surgery on his wrist.
See, that's a little sus as well because
suspicious. I'm telling you, suspicious.
You definitely are taking pain meds. Like you definitely are taking pain medication for like your surgery on your wrist. So, I mean, whatever. Shit fucking happens. We cannot control it. We can't do anything about it. He's going to be gone until next year. I think as Padre fans, we need to come together and focus on the group we have right in front of us because it doesn't matter what Tatis will do because it's not going to happen. He hasn't done it all year.
The best thing the Padres could do is win this year. So when they win again with Tatis,
there's not going
to be, cheaters. Like we won without him. We won.
But at the same time, he'll always have that in his career now. And which I really don't think went through his mind whenever he was doing this.
Hell no. It couldn't have.
But the people that give the Astro shit for cheating are literally only Dodger fans, and everyone else kind of tucked under the rug. Whatever, it happened. Shit's over now. So the only way, which I really don't think he can, I really don't think he can make the Hall of Fame now because of this speculation.
No shot.
But I was saying,
I don't think it's a speculation, Trevor.
Is it appealable? Question mark.
He did appeal it and then quickly withdrew.
Oh.
Yeah, so
he said that in his announcement.
Main points out of this: keep him in the United States during the offseason. He should not leave San Diego if whatever. second point, someone needs to take him under your wing and tell him to grow the fuck up. There's a lot of people who like
There are two guys who need to do that. One, Manny Machado, and then there's a big gap, and then it could be Joe Musgrove.
And I think it would be so great for him to stay with Joe in San Diego and train, do that like mind fucking shit that Joe does that gets him mind clear, and that's why he's dominated the last 2 years in
What
San
about
Diego.
the ayahuasca?
Get
Oh,
him on fucking
Get him some ayahuasca.
I don't care.
get him on that fucking shit. Get him trained with Aaron Rodgers. I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't.
Keep him in the
He
States
just
for sure.
the best thing about this, well, I don't know if there's a best thing, but he's gonna grow up after this experience is over, and I think it's truly gonna be the best. Like he's gonna blossom after this, but at the same time, it's only if he stays in the States this offseason and trains with a teammate or someone in San Diego, United States.
We said the same thing about the wrist, though. He's
What?
gonna learn. He's gonna learn from this. Never gonna ride a bike again. He'll come back.
Yeah, but
stronger than
this
ever.
this was like hand in hand. The same
Um,
thing. We just learned months later. Who knows when the last time it happened? Who knows what it was actually for? If it was the ringworm, if it was the rashes, if it was, because it makes sense that like yeah, you lie about ringworm, but it makes total sense if you had a bad bike accident and you put the steroid cream on all your scars or road rash or open wounds, and it's gonna heal quicker, and then obviously that's gonna be direct contact into your skin as open wounds. Yeah.
You're pissed.
absolutely.
And the ringworm also was right on his neck. So yeah, like everyone says, if you use creams, it's not that crazy, but like right on your neck, right into your bloodstream, like right into your body. So I mean, I don't know. I'm not a goddamn doctor. I'm just making excuses. This shit sucks. Tatis is done for 80 games. The Padres are 1-0 without Tatis in this suspension era. Yeah, I'm calling that the suspension era because Padres, as soon as they win a World Series, we're gonna drop a timeline of like obstacles they've gotten over, and this is another one of those obstacles, and it's another kick in the balls that is only gonna make the World Series taste so much fucking sweeter when it comes. So,
And
San
honestly,
Diego fans, Padre fans, hold your heads high. It's gonna be out of the news and just be an everyday thing very soon. So just get over it.
Yep, and I can't wait for the 30 for 30 on his career. It's going to be
I
electric.
can't wait because he's going to be a multiple time champ. And this is going to be another thing that is just on the table. If he doesn't make Hall of Fame, who gives a fuck? If he has a couple
gives a
rings
fuck,
at the end of the year or at the end of his career.
I hope he wins MVPs, but at the same time, people are. I don't know if he'll get the old timers, the 90-year-old voters that we have in voting for MLB and shit. So we'll see.
He's got to earn the team's trust back.
No, for sure.
That's the biggest thing. Whatever it takes. I have no idea what it's going to take. But that is the absolute number one goal for him is he's going to have to come back and he's going to have to earn it. And it's going to take a while. But man, is it just a sucker punch being a Padre fan? I don't know. Is San Diego fucking cursed? Is it the curse of San Diego? The Chargers leave, the Clippers leave, Houston Rockets, those guys leave. The fucking Padres star shortstop suspension.
Whoever put this curse on us, why us?
Yeah,
could have picked the freaking
San Diego,
the Mets or the Orioles.
Best place on earth. You could have picked fucking Alabama to put a curse on, but you did choose San Diego.
Hey.
I'll take all the blame. If you have any complaints about the curse, please send them my way. I can handle any saying towards me.
All hate and all complaints towards Shenny at Shenny.
It's 11N, so be careful. But yeah, please DM me if you have any like anything bad you want to say. I can handle anything you say. I really can. You can say anything you want to me. I'll be able to handle it. And then at the end, though, I'm gonna dish it back to you because that's what you deserve if you come at me like that. So be ready for that. No hate involved. But if you have,
You come at the bowl, you're gonna get the horns. All right. It's just gonna take a second. I'm pretty sure that was a dog that you just did.
don't worry
Definitely
about it.
didn't sound like a bull
Yeah, definitely.
How do you know? You been to rodeo?
once or twice.
Time or two.
I know you guys were Nick.
Why'd you bring your
All right,
accent
man.
out?
All right. There's nothing wrong with being average.
San Diego.
San Diego, we're gonna support you. Let's ride.
That's
See you
Yeah.
next year, Tatis. See you, buddy. Have a
Hey,
great
oh, yeah.
vacation.
Fernando Tatis, there is nothing wrong with being average. All right.
Peace.